Hello students, I am Dr. Meenakshi Maur, Assistant Professor, Zoology, Sri Samvyaji Government College, Manfia, Chittorgarh. Today I am going to discuss respiratory system of human being. In previous lecture, I explained some terminology about respiration and I discussed what is external and internal respiration and what is anaerobic and aerobic respiration. In today's lecture, I will explain respiratory tract and respiratory organ of human being. Different animals have different organs of respiration and on the basis of their habitats and level of organization. In human being, respiratory system is formed of two parts. First, respiratory tract and second, respiratory organ. Respiratory tract means the path for fresh and foul air and it is comprised of nostrils, nasal chambers, internal nares or choanae, pharynx, larynx, trachea and bronchi. And then respiratory organ which is lung in human being and it comprises of bronchioles and alveoli. And there are other structures also which helps in breathing. These structures are diaphragm, rib cage, intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles. And I'll explain all these things in later slides one by one. First, nostril, nasal chamber and internal nares. So, nostril is here, you can see. Then it leads to nasal chamber, then here internal nares which leads to pharynx, here pharynx which leads to larynx, it is larynx. Then it leads into trachea which is also known as windpipe, and then this trachea bifurcates into two primary bronchi. Then it is a lung and here it is a diaphragm and lung. Both the lungs are covered by rib cage and in rib cage there is intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles are present in abdominal area. So nostril are two small holes of nose for intake of oxygen and elimination of carbon dioxide. These are one pair and they are small and oval apertures and they are present just above the mouth. Then nasal chamber. Nasal chamber are a pair of large chambers and it is enclosed in the nasal capsule and it is present above the palate. These chambers are separated by one another by a nasal septum and each nasal chamber is divided into three parts: vestibular part, respiratory part and olfactory part. See, this is vestibular part, this is respiratory part and this is a olfactory part. First, vestibular part. It is anterior and smaller part and it is lined by hairy skin and it acts as a filter because it prevents the entry of dust particles. Then respiratory region. It is a middle part and it is lined by a glandular and vascular respiratory epithelium which is pseudostratified, and this part acts as an air conditioner and it brings the inspired air at the body temperature. Then olfactory part. It is the posterior part and it is lined by highly sensory olfactory epithelium which is also known as Schindrin membrane and it helps in smelling. So this is all about nasal chambers. Nasal chamber helps in warming by heat radiated by the blood because very cold air of winter may freeze the lung tissue. So it helps in warming. Then nasal chamber also helps in filtration of air. It also do air conditioning and moistening with evaporated mucus because the dry air may kill the lung cells. And it also helps in sterilizing because it kills bacteria by lysosome of mucus of inspiratory air. And it also helps in smelling. And because of these functions in the nasal chamber, the nasal respiration is always advantageous over mouth breathing. Then internal nares. These are opening of nasal chamber in the roof of nasopharynx, and it is closed by uvula during swallowing. So it's all about nostril, nasal chamber and internal nares. Now pharynx. Pharynx, it is common for both nasal cavity and buccal cavity, and it provides passage for both air and food. Pharynx is about 5 inches long and it is divided into 3 parts, that is nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx is the uppermost part of the pharynx. See, this is the yellow part is nasopharynx. It directly communicates with the nasal cavity. Here, nasal cavity. As the base of the nasopharynx are the soft palate and the pendulous vulva. On swallowing, the soft palate and vulva raise upwards and it blocks the nasopharynx. So, by doing this, food cannot reach the nasal cavity. Nasopharynx also contains the opening of eustachian tube. See. So, this is nasopharynx and here eustachian tube. Then oropharynx. The blue part is oropharynx. The mouth leads into oropharynx. It directly communicates with the oral cavity. See, this is oral cavity. It extends from the soft palate to the upper border of the epiglottis. Nasopharynx also opens into the oropharynx. So, oropharynx deals with both digestion and respiration. Then, laryngopharynx here, the purple part is a laryngopharynx. It also serves as a common passage for both food and air, and it is the lowest part of the pharynx, and it leads into larynx and esophagus. It extends from the superior border of the epiglottis to the inferior border of cricoid cartilage, where it becomes continuous with the esophagus. So it is all about pharynx. Now larynx. Larynx is also known as voice box. It is a cartilaginous structure and it produces sound and helps in speaking. Larynx consists of hyoid bone. Here you can see. Then glottis, and it contains larynx cartilage, which is the epiglottis, thyroid, cricoid, arytenoid, corniculate and cuneiform. Then it also consists of thyrohyoid membranes and last vocal cords. So hyoid bone is present just above the larynx, and it is also considered to be a skull bone. Then glottis It is the opening of trachea into the laryngopharynx, and it is guarded by epiglottis. And air enters the trachea through glottis. Then you can see cartilage of larynx. Here you can see epiglottis. Then it is thyroid cartilage. Then cricoid cartilage. Then you can see arytenoid. Then corniculate. Here you can see corniculate. Then cuneiform. Here cuneiform. Then thyroid membrane. Here it is a broad flat membrane, and it is attached to the hyoid bone above and to the thyroid cartilage below here. And then vocal cords. Vocal cords are two small pair of folds of mucous membrane, and they are made up of flexible elastic tissue. Vocal cords in man are usually thicker and longer in women, and therefore they vibrate more slowly, and thus speech of voice in man is lower than that of the women. So it's all about larynx. Now trachea and bronchi. Trachea is also known as windpipe. It is a long, thin-walled tubular structure, and it runs downward through the neck in front of esophagus. It is supported by 60 to 20 dorsally incomplete C-shaped cartilaginous tracheal rings, which prevents its collapsing. And it is lined by pseudostratified ciliated epithelium with mucus secreting goblet cells. So this is trachea, and it serves as the passage for entry and exit of respiratory gases. Trachea bifurcates to form two primary bronchi. Here you can see two primary bronchi. Then this primary bronchi again divided into secondary bronchi. So there, see, this is yellow part is a primary, then it is divided into secondary. The red one is secondary. Then the secondary again divided into tertiary bronchi. See, and then tertiary bronchi leads to bronchioles. Each bronchus enters the lung of its site, and each bronchus inside the lung divides into many secondary and tertiary branches, and which form at bronchioles. So this is the bronchi and trachea. Then lungs. Lungs are also known as pulmonary sac. They are the primary organ of respiration. They are two in number, and they are present in thoracic cavity, one on either side of pleura of the heart. Now lung is covered by thin, transparent, two-layered peritoneal serous sac, which is known as pleura. Its inner and outer layer are respectively called visceral pleuron and parietal pleuron. Two pleural membranes are continuous over the primary bronchus at the ileum, and between these layers there is a narrow pleural cavity which is filled with the pleural fluid and which performs three functions. First, it allows free frictionless movement of lungs, and second, protect the lung from mechanical shocks. Each lung is a conical shaped, having upper narrow apex and the broader base. So this is the narrow apex and broader base. Two, the outer convex posterior semilunar shaped and the inner concave surface and there is a space between lungs is known as mediastinum. And each lung is a lobulated organ and divided externally into lobes by transverse and oblique grooves, which are known as fissures. So you can see there is a horizontal fissure and oblique fissure. So in right lung there are two fissures. That's why right lung is a three-lobed structure. See here, it's upper lobe, it's a middle lobe, and it's a lower lobe. So there is a fissure which is known as horizontal, and this one is known as a oblique fissure. Now left lung, it is divided into two lobes, upper lobe and lower lobe, and they both are separated by oblique fissure. Left lung is a two-lobed and right lung is a three-lobed structure. The left lung also has a cardiac notch along its anteromedian border, which accommodate the heart. So you can see this is a trachea, then primary bronchi, then it is dividing into tertiary and secondary bronchi, which leads to bronchioles. Internally, the lung contains many fine branches, which are known as bronchioles. Bronchioles leads to alveoli. Alveoli are balloon-like structure and which helps in exchange of gases. So after entering the lung, the primary bronchi divide to form tertiary and secondary bronchi, and then tertiary bronchi subdivide into small branches called bronchioles, and there is a difference between bronchi and bronchioles. Bronchi are without bronchi are with cartilaginous ring, but bronchioles are without cartilaginous ring. Bronchi are with cartilaginous rings, but bronchioles are without cartilaginous rings. So here you can see bronchioles. This is the structure. Then it leads to alveoli, which is a highly vascular, and I have already explained it is its wall forms a respiratory surface for the exchange of gases, and there are about 400 into 10 raised to power 6 alveoli in one lung. That is about 750 million of alveoli in both the lungs of adult man. The lungs replace the skin very effectively in mammal. Why? Because it provides about 100 square meters surface or surface area of respiration, which is about 50 times than that of skin. So it's all about alveoli. Here you can say, you can see this is an alveolar sac. Here alveolar duct and this balloon-like structures, alveoli. So it's about lungs, which consist of bronchioles and alveoli. Then there are other structures as well which helps in breathing. These are diaphragm, which is a muscular, flat, flap-like structure, and it is the base of thoracic cavity. And then rib cage. Rib cage means 12 ribs in man, which form a cage-like structure over the heart and protects the heart. Then intercostal muscles, which are of two types, external and internal intercostal muscles, which helps in breathing. Then abdominal muscles, which are present in abdominal area, and it also helps in breathing. I'll explain intercostal muscles and abdominal muscles in my next lecture. These are internal intercostal muscles, and these are external intercostal muscles. Here you can see rib cage. So these are intercostal muscles. So in today's lecture, I explained respiratory system of human being, in which I explained nostril, nasal chamber, internal nares, then pharynx, which is divided into three parts: nasopharynx, oropharynx, and laryngopharynx. Then larynx, which is a cartilaginous structure, and it helps in producing sound and helps in speaking. Then trachea, bronchi tree, trachea, which is a windpipe. Trachea bifurcates to form two primary bronchi. Then each bronchus enters the lung and divides into secondary and tertiary bronchi. Then lungs, which is a main respiratory organ of human being, and these are two in number, and it consists of bronchioles and alveoli, which is a main structure for the exchange of gases. Then these are the diagram of lung, bronchioles and alveoli. Then other structures which help in breathing are diaphragm, rib cage, intercostal muscles, abdominal muscles. Thank you.